back to politics. Senator Ted Cruz in Dane, Wisconsin, taking a factory tour, that is. He did address reporters earlier, calling Trump a sniveling coward in regards to Trump's comments about the wives in all of this. Cruz's appeal to Wisconsin voters, though, especially important as the state holds the potential to change the face of the rest of this race. At least some analysts believe so. Not only is the state a winner-take-all, but as a Midwestern state, it could set the precedent for the northern states to come. And Ted Cruz just took the lead in a new national poll. I'm joined now by Craig Varoga, a Democratic strategist, and Kevin Paul Scott, a Republican strategist. Thank you both for joining us today. Kevin, let me begin with you. We're less than 2 weeks away from the Wisconsin primary. There are those that suggest it's pretty close to a must-win for Ted Cruz. I mean, he needs to win, what, 80-something% of the remaining delegates out there. How would you respond?
Yeah, I think it is a must-win for Ted Cruz, and that's why he's really lobbying hard and trying to get Governor Walker to endorse him ahead of this primary. You know, it's tough to see any scenario in which Ted Cruz gets 1,237 delegates. That being said, the longer he stays in, the tougher he fights, the tougher it is for Donald Trump to get to that delegate math. And so right now you're trying to see how does the field narrow, what happens that makes this happen. And what's very, very interesting, Ashley, is that the Cruz people want John Kasich out. John Kasich is saying, if I'm out, those votes that I have go to Trump, not you. So this is kind of a mess right now.
It is a mess. It's highly entertaining, too, for us in the media. It's fascinating. Let me get to Craig and talk about Bernie Sanders. Shocked everyone, including the pollsters winning Michigan. What are you expecting in Wisconsin?
I mean, he'll be strong in Wisconsin. I think that he's not likely to win the nomination, but he will be strong there. And recently I've been thinking of him sort of as the Energizer Bunny, that he will just keep on going even when it becomes mathematically impossible for him to win the nomination. But yes, he should do reasonably well in Wisconsin.
So, Craig, Bernie keeps going. We feel the burn, and certainly Hillary Clinton feels the burn. Is he pushing her further to the left, and does that alienate her from more moderate voters when we get to the actual election run into the presidency?
Well, I mean, I look at the national polls, and she's consistently doing significantly better than Donald Trump. She's 11 points ahead. Nothing has hurt her so far. But I do think one of the reasons that Sanders is staying in this race, and the reason he'll stay in after it's mathematically impossible for him to win the nomination, is in order to advocate his issues and try to pull the Democratic Party in that direction.
You were just seeing Hillary Clinton there. She's speaking live at the University of Southern California right now. All right, let's go back to Kevin. Kevin, so much is said about what happens if there is a contested, brokered convention. Who wins in that? I would say which candidate will win, but then could the Democrats ultimately come out the winner of that situation?
Well, what you have the opportunity, the reason Democrats could win is if a group of Republican voters, either group, feels disenfranchised and then they're not motivated to show up. But the truth is that I think, if the Republicans pull a third-party thing, that's a different scenario. But otherwise, Hillary Clinton is going to motivate Republicans. You're seeing a candidate on the left who has not been able to motivate her own base. That's why Bernie Sanders is still hanging around, even though he's not going to win. Unless the Republicans really screw this up, I'm not saying they'll win, but they're going to be motivated less because of their candidate and more because they have such a distrust for Hillary Clinton.
Very quickly, Kevin, just to follow up, it's interesting, close to 60% of voters say that even if Donald Trump doesn't get the exact number of 1,237 delegates, they still believe he should be the one that moves forward because of his performance in the primary. If he is not the chosen one, how much does that upset the vote?
Well, I think if for some reason, if the people who have been motivated, like Donald Trump or not, a group of voters who have come out and voted for him in fervor, really excited support, if they feel like he's robbed and they're disenfranchised somehow, that's not only going to affect this election, that does have the potential to turn off voters who have supported him for a long time. So that's difficult for the party. At the same time, a lot of conservatives are saying, he's not a conservative, we don't want him. Lots of challenges in both parties right now.
Craig, last word to you. Are the Democrats loving this, this infighting among the GOP, the establishment, the anything but Trump movement? I mean, is this good news for the Democrats?
Well, look, I think that what's going on with Donald Trump is bad for the country and it's bad for the Republican Party. I think it's a disaster for them in the general election. He will have the most negative ratings of any candidate who wins the nomination in anybody's history. So it's bad for the Republican Party, whether or not he's the nominee. It's bad for the country. As a Democrat, I don't take any joy in it because I think that the positions he represents are so offensive that we shouldn't want them to be, part of a major party's nominee.
But he's getting the support despite all of that. All right, Craig
Well,
Varoga. Yeah, go ahead, very quickly.
No, he's getting 35 to 40% of the Republican vote, and it's like I think that the divisiveness we're seeing in the Republican Party is indication that Republicans really don't want him, but they haven't come up with an effective strategy to stop him.
You agree, Kevin? I know I'm out of time. I just have to finish this thought.
It's a tough argument. I mean, I think he's got a lot to say. The problem is that there's not a very appealing Democrat either, so a lot of people are disillusioned right now.
We'll leave it there. Craig Varoga,
Okay.
Democratic strategist, Kevin Paul Scott, Republican strategist. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, sir.